we had a VHS tape of a Bill Cosby special.
Oh,
And
classic.
my dad and I used to quote it to each other. There's a bit on there where he talks about going to the dentist, and like he gets Novocaine. He goes, my lip up is on the phone.
Yes, of course.
So it's classic.
Yeah.
So I've always loved
Of
stand
course,
up.
I know it.
Back then, I had no interest in being in front of the camera. I went to school to be an editor. But I love stand up. I'd been to shows in LA. And I wrote to Joey on his Facebook wall. I said, I want to work with comedians, but I don't want to come off as creepy. Do you have any advice? And I remember I was there, and he wrote me a message on Facebook and said, what are your ideas? And I essentially wrote, like, comedians can release their own specials now. They can do YouTube videos, the podcast. And we met. He took a chance on me, and we met outside the old Haha Comedy Club in North Hollywood. It's still there, but in a different location now. And we started off slow. We met out there and would talk, and I'd see him. He was taking a break from the store at that point, so he wasn't performing there. And I remember one of the happiest memories for me is the first time I went to his house. He took me into his office, and he's not a very tech savvy person. He's better now, but it was at the beginning of Twitter. I don't think he had a smartphone yet, and he had me show him how to upload a picture to Twitter, and he called me an unadulterated genius for being able to do.
You're a genius, Lee. I can see it now.
For being able to show him how to upload a picture to Twitter. So from there, it was pretty crazy. We did what we started off with, and it's crazy how technology just changes. He did a show for Gabriel Iglesias called Stand Up Revolution, which is just like, it's one of those shows where everyone does 5 to 10 minutes, and Gabriel was the host, and Gabriel gave everyone who was on a little digital video camera called the Sony Bloggie. They probably sell for $6 on eBay now. And Joey would go around and film himself, and every week I would meet him, and he'd give it to me, and he'd give me $100, and I'd edit it together, and we did a little mini web series called Mad Flavors World.
What was it called?
Mad Flavors World.
Mad Flavors World. So that was a comedy series, digital series.
On YouTube, and it was goofy. And then from there, we did a CD. How you were just showing me your Zoom. We didn't even have a Zoom yet. We rented a Zoom for $50, and we went down to, I think it was the Ontario Improv. It was either that or the Brea, but I think it was Ontario. And if you watch a special now, most comics are filming between 2 and 4, or even more shows. We recorded one show. I did a very minimal editing. We cut out a few bits and cleaned it up a little bit, and we put it out on iTunes, and it went number 1 for like a few months, and it hit the Billboard charts, and it was a big success. And then we took that, and this was before GoFundMe or any of that. He put a video up on YouTube and did some talking on Facebook, and we raised from his fans. We raised like $3,000, and we went and shot a documentary in New Jersey and New York, where he's from, and to tell his life story. It was just me and him for literally a day. We shot. It was you usually have like a week to shoot things. It was with a team. It was me and him for one day.
One day knocked it out.
Yeah, and that was called Where I Got My Balls From. Sorry to all your listeners. It's not very safe for work working with Joe. It's fun, but it's not safe for work. And then we got the idea for the Church of What's Happening Now came. We were talking, and Joey was a big believer that the news was giving you bad news and all of that. Yeah. And back then, Joe Rogan would stream his live. Now he doesn't stream it live. He puts it out later. Yeah. But we had the idea of doing a 6 a.m. podcast. And I was still working in TV, and I was working when you're an assistant editor, you work nights. So I was working on Hell's Kitchen, the Gordon Ramsay show, from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. and then I would drive to Joey's house, and from 6 to 8, we would stream live and smoke weed and get crazy. And we did that for like a couple of years. From like 6 to 8, I'd put the podcast up and I'd go to sleep. And in 2012, no, I'm sorry. We started in September 2012. And by April of 2013, when I ended my run on Hell's Kitchen, I decided to take a jump and work with Joey full time. So for almost or over 7 years, I was just full time doing the podcast.